other module of CSS properties. Today we are going to look into box and multi-column properties. Coming to the concept, HTML4 does not support any specific area to present it in the web page. That is, let's take if it is a header or if it is article or if it is a footer or main content. It does not provide any specific area. Let's take if I am using a tag and it is defined with a specific position. So everything is given with the help of a div tag. We use id attribute in order to specify the position and the name for the particular section. Okay, and in div using style property we can fix the position of the content, whether it is an image or text, where I have to display either from the top and either from the left. We are going to specify the pixels, the margin values. From there the content will be displayed, and the content, in case if we are using some overlapping numerical values, one or other content will be displayed. But basically in HTML4 we are going to use a div element in order to display the content. Let's take if I want to put on some content on the screen, especially to a particular area, and design a box for it. So in such cases, we have some of the properties, border properties, which we are going to use as margin, border and padding, and give a look as if it is displayed as a box model in the web page. So in order to do that, some basic properties we have as height, width, padding, border, a shorthand property, margins based on the user choice, whether it is a left or a right margin, and an outline margin. So now practically we'll look into the things how we will actually create a border property. I'm working with HTML4, so I'm using a notepad here in order to execute the code. So these styling properties can be implemented using any of the style sheet, that is either external style sheet, embedded or inline style sheet based on the requirement. And I am using a embedded style sheet here just to make things little clear as what style properties and for which element I am using and what is the implementation in the web page. So that's the reason I'm focusing on the embedded style sheets. Okay, using box models. So some content is been given. Let me save the document. Any browser application can be used in order to display the content, and box is compatible for all new and old browsers. Okay, so now just observe, nothing happened because I did not specify any properties as such, so the plain content is displayed on my screen. Now what I'm going to do, I want to display this content in a specific position. So in order to display with the position, I told you we use a element called as a div. Using a style property, we can specify the position where exactly I have to display. Okay, position I'm taking absolute, and we have lot of other positions we'll be discussing exclusively on a session when I make it for a div and the positions. So absolute position, and I want to specify the spacing from the margins, that is from left margin I wanted to move 50 pixels, and from the top margin I wanted to move it with 100 pixel. Just observe what will happen if I am specifying the content in this format. Closing my div element, check. Style should be specified. Once again, position. Okay, from the top it is falling with 100 pixels, and from left it is moving with 50 pixels and the content is displayed. So like that I can use a div model to display the content in a particular position. Now that I want to give some box, that is the concept for the day. I want to give a look of box. I want to display area. So in that case, I have to specify some of the property. So what are the properties we use for box? We are supposed to give a height and width. Okay, how do you specify the height? Let's take in the style. Here I will say uh, height. How many ever pixels? It's a numerical value. So you're going to specify the value with the pixels. Height is 50 pixels I want, and width I want with 100 pixels. So something I have specified here. Now let me see whether it will be applied. Ultimately no, because these are the properties given, but I did not assign it for any element. So in case if I want to assign for the element, I have to use some element here. Let's take you have already designed some 100 HTML pages, and now suddenly you want to create a header style, and that header style you want to apply for all 100 pages, and you are not sure what is the common tag used in all 100. It may be H1 in some pages, H2 in some pages, or it may be a normal font with center alignment as a heading. So in such case, I will define a universal style here for a box. So with any name, universal style, I'm using style classes here. I will say this is a box model. Any name can be given. Identifier, I'm using the name as bx, and I have specified height and width. So now I'm supposed to call. You can take any element. It may be header element, it may be div element, it may be span, or any element. Just to call the class name, so that the styles are being reflected. So I use a class attribute. Class is equal to name given by me is bx. So I'm going to use it. Until here I want to apply the div. So I'm closing my div. Children, I repeat, you can implement it for any tag, not necessarily it should be a div tag. So I said height 50 and width 100. So you can see automatically a wrap is done and it is coming to the models, is coming to the next line. Ma'am, even then now I don't see any border. How do we display the border line? I want the outline to be displayed. So for that we use the shortcut property border. Remember, for the shortcut property, three values we are giving. Remember it as S, S, C. S for size, the first value we will give it as size. Size is I want 4 pixels as the border width of the border, and style of the border as basic. I'm going for solid border. Okay, just separate it with the space solid border, and the color for the border I'm going with the direct color value red. Now you can see a small border implemented. Okay, one second, check. So small border implemented with the dotted properties. As for 4 pixels is the border width, dotted is the border style, and red is the color. Clear? So this is the shorthand property I have specified to see the border lines. Now just increase the size of the height. You will observe what is happening in the output. See, height is increased. Now I even want to increase the width. Let's take 300. See the sizing of the model. Now can I give little space between the lines and the content? We have a property called as padding, and this is also with the numerical value. I am giving 150 pixels as a padding value. That is the space between the borderline and the content. Right, now I want to give a outline border. Can I give one more border on top of the border? Yes, absolutely. How do you specify outline? All right, so this is also a shorthand property. I asked you to remember SSC, size, style, color. Check. So I got the blue border, size, style, and color. Size is some 5 pixels, and double underline, and the color. So more than this, in case if I want to put it separately, can I increase the size of the font and all? You can go with any of the font properties. Let's take, I want to use some font properties here. Font size 45. You will observe the text is been increased. Okay. Right. Now I want to give some color for the background. You can go with background color properties. Any shades of color. Remember, whenever we use color, it's up to you. Any color values can be specified. So this is all about the box model. More properties are there which will outline inside or infit or outfit, which will help you to give the distance between the border and the outline. Many properties based on the requirement we can implement it. But just remember, we don't have exclusively box property. Indeed, we are using some properties as height, width, padding, border, and margins in order to specify the structure in the form of box. So, coming to the margin properties, we have margin. Okay, any numerical value pixels. Just observe here, whenever I use a margin, the left and the top margin values are specified. By default, when I say margin, it happens the left margin and the top margin the equal value. 45 pixels are given from the margin. Now let's take, I increase the value, then things may be clear. Check. Right. So in case I want only the left margin, I'm supposed to say margin hyphen left. Now observe, top will remain default, left side I'm moving 105 pixels. Now let's take, I want only top, I can specify like this. By default, if you only say margin, it happens from top and also from left, you will get equal distance specified as a value for the margin. So this is your margin. So margin, the space between the web page borders and the content area, and border is the border line. Two borders we will use, inset and outside, that is for outline border, and padding, the space between content and the border line. From the content, how much space is given, that will consider as a padding area. Coming to the next topic, let's take, I want to display data in the form of multiple columns. I have a multi-col property. So for that, we need some content to be displayed. So using box model. So I'm taking some junk content here. Let's take one second. See here, I want to display in the form of multi-column. Okay. I'm using a class here, MC. MC is multi-column class. Okay, so I'm giving for multi-column. Remember, we are supposed to say that is the some content is displayed on the screen. Let's check if I put it with a normal paragraph. I'm working with the same document again. I am removing all the border properties. So let's take. I have some paragraph content. Paragraph is specified within the p tag. We all know that. Okay, so this is the content I have. Some content, assume, save it, and when I execute, it is displayed in a single line content. Let's take this, I want to display in multi-col. So I'm taking multi-column properties, but I need to assign it for some element or selector. So I'm taking class selector again. Two major property we are supposed to specify. multi-call, how many columns I have to divide. Okay, multi-call count, column count we have, which will help us to specify how many columns I have to decide. So I will specify hyphen count numerical value. I'll say I want to divide three columns, right? And what is the gap between each column you want, which is given with the help of attribute column gap. How much this is in the pixel value? Let's take, I want 20 pixel gap. Now I need to call this particular class in order to implement the style. So I'm using the attribute class is equal to the name given by me is MC. Now just to check the difference. So my page is divided based on the text content. I have very little content, so it happened it is dividing in that way. Now that I reduce the size of my screen, you can see that three columns are being divided. I said I want to divide it in three columns, so it is dividing in three columns, and 20 pixel gap between each column is specified. So can I do little more? Ma'am, I want to draw a line between these columns. Can I draw the line? So for that we have a ruler properties, column rule and style, column rule and color and the width. So we'll check. I want to draw a line between column hyphen rule. Rule is a line. Rule hyphen style. Okay. I want to display with a double line. Double line. Let's take. I want to display that with the thickness rule hyphen width, any pixel value. Let's take 20 pixels. Okay, check. I got a line between each double, I said, so I got a double line. In case you don't want double line, you want a small dashed line, I can say dashed, and see to that the pixel count is less so that you will see a very thin line. Okay, so this is clear at the part, dashed where small dash is coming. Let's take 2 pixels solid, you can specify, right? Okay, increase the size of the this one, you will identify what has happened. Okay, and you can even change the color. How do we change the color? Column hyphen rule hyphen any standard color value. Okay, gap is okay 20 pixels and width is, let's take 2 pixels. Now see the difference. Okay, I said red color, so red color line is given. So that's all about the multi-column and the border properties. So this is multi-column to specify content as in newspaper and all. Span is used to merge multiple columns. It's a general example. And this is the box model. That's all for the day. Thank you.